coming to you from Leeds, we have the esteemed co-runners for the GPEx election coordinator candidates, Faaiz Hasan from London and Nicola from Peterborough. Please, tell us all about yourselves.
So my name's Nicola. I'm a councillor in Peterborough. I represent the working class community that I grew up in. I'm a teacher by profession, so I'm very interested in language, narratives and stories. I attended one of the first campaign schools in 2018, and we've now got 5 Green councillors from Conservative-facing wards in Peterborough. The Greens have done fantastically well with over 850 councillors and 4 MPs. We know that people are suffering because of the cost of living crisis, the climate crisis. We know that we've got the policies to help them. We want to get more diverse voices that represent our communities in a language that our communities can relate to. We want to consolidate and build on the work we've already done.
So my name is Faaiz Hasan. I'm originally from Pakistan, but I've lived in the UK since the late 90s. I've lived and worked in London in the financial sector. I've done a lot of data analysis, number crunching, sort of scenarios, forecasts, predictions. I've been very active in the Green Party locally. I'm the chair of West Central London Green Party. I'm also working on the London Federation, which is our regional committee. I'm very keen on elections and electioneering. And what we want to do is all successful elections are coalitions. And so we want to broaden the Green Party base from our traditional voters to something which encompasses the working class, the youth, and the global majority communities within our country.
Mm-hmm. And why is it you two have decided to run alongside each other?
So obviously in Peterborough, we've run Conservative-facing seats. We are moving into Labour areas, whereas Faaiz has got the experience from a very Labour-facing London area. I've got that idea of narrative stories, telling stories about people and places. And obviously, Faaiz, you have the data analysis skills that we'll need. And together combined, we think we could be really strong election coordinators.
And as we all know, the Green Party has been making steady electoral progress. But what is it you would do to push that?
So Target to Win has brought the Greens some fantastic achievements, but we feel that we need to go sort of much more deeper into our communities once we've been elected, maybe for a second term. So I've certainly been working with residents really closely, really engaged with residents on resident associations. I've helped set up mental health support groups and embedded some of the green ideas into our local residents. Associations and community groups. I've set up steering groups to challenge large housing developments that don't have enough infrastructure. So all those things, as well as working with mosques and churches and our local communities, are things that we feel we need to do. We also feel we need to be knocking on more doors, not just those on the electoral register, because some of those most vulnerable residents are the ones that need our help the most.
From my side, look, I think 2 areas I'd love to focus on is ambition and also diversity. So the Green Party has never been larger in size. We have new joiners literally every day. They're coming to us because we actually are the only progressive, genuine force on the left of Labour. And that needs to translate into a much more ambitious electoral strategy. But also we have a huge responsibility to make sure that all these disgruntled voters who have been completely let down by the 2 mainstream parties don't gravitate towards reform. So we need to be more ambitious in where we are standing and how we are campaigning. And the second element is, Nicola talked about Target to Win. I would like to modify it or enhance it by adopting Target to Win Plus, which in my case, the plus represents diversity. So I think we have a wonderful set of policies for not only the in all regions of the country. And in London, for example, nearly 46% of the population is non-white. And we need to embrace that diversity in terms of reaching out to that voter base. We are already doing very well in certain communities. But we also need to make sure that our leadership and our candidates actually reflect the diverse community that they're looking to serve. And I think this is something that we need to really address, because historically, unfortunately, we've been labeled as a white middle-class party. I don't think that is true. And our voter base seems to be ahead of us in terms of our voter base is much more diverse than our leadership. So I'm very keen to make sure that whenever we're choosing target to win awards or candidates or campaigns, diversity is at the heart of it. And that means we measure diversity, we encourage diversity, and we make sure that that is part and parcel of who we are.
In the east of England, we've got 696 seats up. And in Essex, Norfolk, Suffolk, and Thurrock, all of those elections were delayed from last year. So we know that the Labour and Conservatives vote is collapsing, and we know that reform is gaining ground. So we need to really strategically target some of those areas. We also really need to be doing better in Wales with the Senate elections in May the 26th. Again, the Labour vote's collapsing, and it would be great to have strong representation and more voices in Wales.
Just to continue on that, yeah. So there are about more than 5,000 council seats up for election, in addition to the Senate election that Nicola was talking about. And unlike 2025, a lot of these, nearly half of them are Labour-held seats, and which present a massive opportunity for us. London is a particular case because London, unlike other areas, has elections once every 4 years for councils. So the entire 1,800 London seats are up for election, and we can really make serious inroads into the Labour vote bank. And Starmer has been so incredibly unpopular that in May 25 local elections, he lost something like 2/3 of the seats he was defending. There have been by-elections up and down the country. He's lost more than half of the Labour seats he was defending. So this party is in free fall, and we need to step up and make sure that these people come and vote for the Greens and not for reform or don't stay home. Because I think there is a certain level of disenchantedness with the entire political system, and we've seen that in lower turnout. And I think what we'd love to do is figure out how do we reach out to the people who have given up on the electoral strategy. And we've seen that in New York, where Zoran Mamdani managed to increase voter turnout from something like 23% to 50%, especially in the younger age group. And that is how you can transform election results. And I think that is what we need to do, because I think sometimes we are very focused on incremental organic growth. Okay, we got 50 seats last time, let's go for 70 seats this time. This is, if we do that, I think it will be doing a great disservice to the people of this country, because reform, unfortunately, there is a real risk that reform could win. And the reality is, across Europe, the equivalent of reform have won. They're either the largest party or they're representing governments, etc. So this is really, the next few years will have a huge implication for UK, but also European and world politics.
And what is it you've been focusing on recently?
I've started to begin to think about how we fundraise. At the moment, we fundraise locally in our local parties, and we really need to sort of develop some further ideas around that, because we do need an app which would streamline canvassing and campaigning. We know that it costs more money for Greens to stand in terms of the amount of literature that we put out into wards. So we really need to think about how we fund those resources and campaigns to really scale up what we're doing in the Green Party.
I think we're coming up to the Green Party conference, which I think is a very exciting time. And last year, we had a phenomenal conference where we passed the motion declaring what is happening in Gaza as genocide. I think there is a similar sort of some very radical motions being proposed. I have proposed one which asks the Green Party to consider strategic alliances, because I think we are in such dire electoral times with the rise of the far right, not only in the UK, but in Europe and in the US, and where things that we had hoped had been banished into the history have come back. So you see rise of racism, Islamophobia, you have LGBT rights being targeted, you have people sort of taking away our right to protest, peaceful protest. You have Farage and others making fun of net zero as if in complete denial of the climate crisis that we are facing. And so in this situation, we can continue our organic growth strategy, but that is not at a scale or speed that fully addresses the dire state of the politics in this country. So what I'm proposing is that we do consider alliances with like-minded parties. I'm also saying that we should encourage local parties to engage in local politics and political alliances if that's necessary, and we come into it from a position of strength based on our phenomenal electoral successes, but also be willing to cooperate with like-minded parties. I would like nothing better than see Keir Starmer lose his seat in Holborn and St. Pancras, or for West Streeting to lose his seat in Ilford North. And for that, we need to team up with well-respected local politicians in those areas, and we should be open to do that. Thank you.
We appreciate that many people are focusing on the deputy leadership elections and the leadership elections. However, we feel that roles on GPEx are really important in order to drive the Green Party forward and complement that leadership team. So by August the 31st, please vote for Nicola and Faaiz.
Thank you.
Wonderful.